Good morning. We don't say good morning enough. A lot of our listeners, a lot of our listeners are like commute hours and like listen when we first drop, which is midnight.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning,
wakey,
guys.
Wakey. Eggs and bacon. Also, we released the podcast or the visual at midnight last week, and a lot of people liked it.
Let's do it again.
Okay.
Why not? Do you guys like it? I don't know why we didn't in the first place.
Yeah.
I think we were just like testing because I know like in the beginning we were kind of
like
just seeing what
YouTube
other people
algorithm shit,
did.
yeah.
And a lot of people were like releasing visual a few hours after audio, but we tried like I feel like it doesn't make a difference. So let's just do it both at the same time.
Okay.
Why not? It's also easier for us than we like just do it all at the same time, like scheduled to post all at the same time. Anyway, hello guys. Welcome back to Advice.
Hi.
New episode this week.
I'm Alex.
I'm Kristen.
And this is Advice Podcast.
Advice Podcast. Anyway, last week's episode, a lot of you guys liked it. Some people had like a little bit of opinion on it, but surprisingly, there wasn't much of an uproar. I thought a lot of I thought people were gonna be like, right? Like, I don't think that about men, or you know what I mean? Like, there wasn't a lot of debate, and I thought there would be because it's definitely a very debatable, opinion based. Every answer we gave. Yeah. If you didn't listen to last week's episode, you totally should. We took questions from men in our audience, stuff about like, does size matter, or how do I hit on a girl? And we answered with our perspective, with our opinions, and a lot of people kind of liked it. A lot of people, a lot of men that like our friends hit me and said, hey, I listened to that, blah, blah, blah.
Hell yeah.
I was like, okay, thanks.
Anyone I know?
Yes.
Word.
Well, I'll tell you in a sec.
Okay.
But yeah. Anyway, go listen to it if you haven't already. What else is an update?
We're in clothes and shoes. Yes. Don't say it. I broke my foot last week and it hurts to take my shoe on and off. So I will not be doing that.
We should wear shoes on the bed now. We notice we only wear shoes on the bed when we have something to do after the podcast, and we have something to do after this. That's why we're dressed up and we have makeup on. Whereas usually you
dressed up. We're in jeans and oversized t-shirts.
And okay, do I not? If you're on visual, you can see. Obviously, it's a visual. Don't I look like the guy emoji that wears the red shirt and the blue jeans?
Yeah,
I look exactly like him right now.
And ketchup and mustard.
Oh, thank you. Anyway, we'll get into what we're wearing in a sec. But update: I got home from New York last night, but I guess by the time you're listening to this, it was a week ago. I spent a week in New York alone, and I just wanted to come in on this podcast and share my experience a little bit. I took a solo trip, and I just think everybody needs to take a solo trip. Not necessarily to New York, but just somewhere out of your comfort zone.
Switch up your day to day.
Yes, just switch up the energy around you, switch up the things you look at, the smells you smell, just the people you walk past, the things you eat. Switching up just tiny little things like that in your life, I really do feel this sense of like a new page. On a negative note, I came home feeling like, fuck, why am I in LA? So, but in a way, there's beauty in that too, because maybe it's pushing me into my next chapter of
venture.
Life. Right, which Alex and I have been talking lately, how we both kind of want to move to New York.
I literally say less. I've been looking at apartments.
Yeah, I think we will. Our lease is up in
May.
Is it for sure May?
Yeah, because it's 6 months.
What? Is her lease up? Do we need to move out?
No, it's a year and a half. So is it March?
We got to figure it out.
After 6 months after November.
November, December, January, February, March, April, May. Perfect. So yeah, our lease is up in May, and we're kind of just like, let's switch it up. Alex and I
would love to.
We're so alike in the sense where we love constant change, constant stimulation.
Stimulation
in the simulation. I mean, right. That's quite literally what it is. So yeah, we're kind of thinking about moving. I noticed, you know what? I texted it to Alex and Lana, and I feel like it was a perfect description of what I feel like New York is. I was just updating my trip, expressing how I felt about the trip. And the people in New York are just one of a kind. I feel like a lot of people say people in New York are mean or stuck up or cold. And I don't really see it like that. I think it could come off like that because in other places, people are nice to you, but it's not genuine. They're just being nice to like
fake nice.
Fake nice, exactly. And in New York, people, it's not that they hate you or they don't want to talk to you. They're just like, I'm not going to waste either of our time being like, hey, how are you? Da-da-da. Like we've said on this podcast before, some people use how are you as just a filler.
Right.
And it's just like, fuck that shit. So this is how I described it. The walking, the culture, the people, the food, it's insane. Everything is so unique because if you're not, you won't survive as a business. I was referring to like restaurants and businesses. The cutthroat standard to be unique reflects onto the people, which is so cool to be around. Nobody cares about you or what you're doing or where you're going. People just do what they want and mind their own business. And like, I do feel like reading that back, like that can sound negative, but I just,
no,
I mean, it's so great.
Especially in LA where like everyone cares what you're doing. And like, you have to put on this front that you're like constantly working on your business or constantly doing something. It's so refreshing for there to be a place where like you could literally put your head down and do you, and you're not distracted. You're not held up to this crazy standard of like a LA society. Like, are you doing enough? Like,
exactly.
It's really refreshing.
I even felt like that when I was there, like talking to people, the people I met, they were like, there was no like, so what do you do? Oh, da-da-da. Like, sure, that question did come up sometimes, but it comes up all the time in LA. That's all people talk about in LA is like, oh, what do you do?
Connections,
who do you know?
networking. Who do you know?
And there's beauty in that. And that is everywhere. That's in every industry. And that is a part of success in business. You can't deny it. It's just,
it comes it comes with the people who unfortunately, it's a big part of LA where it's like,
they're asking so that they can be like, what can I get from you?
It's personal benefit.
Exactly.
It's not because they're actually interested in what you do for a living.
Perfectly said. And I just noticed it wasn't like that, at least with the people I was around. I'm sure you can find the bad in everywhere you go and you can find the good in everywhere you go. Yeah. But I know at least in our circle, which is pretty big here in LA, because LA is like so weirdly small at the same time.
Everyone knows everyone here.
Everyone is saying that LA is just like lost its luster and just like, I don't know. So I'm kind of over it. I think we're going to be out of here. That doesn't mean anything with the podcast.
No. We can pick up and move to anywhere if we wanted to.
Right. And it's still, nothing is set in stone. I just got back last night. Like we're just talking, like it's just kind of like a what if, but yeah, that was my experience. I went alone. I stayed in Brooklyn alone for the first 3 days. My second day I saw Liza because she was in New Jersey finishing a project, and she was like, I'll just take a car over to see you. It was one of those moments where it was so meant to be, because Liza and I had been trying to plan a trip to New York for like months now, because she was out there for hella long for a minute. Then she came home. I saw her when she came home for her My Little Pony premiere, and then she was like, I have so much like, she's just so fucking busy, it's so hard to see her.
Yeah.
And she was just like, you know what? It's meant to be that I'm an hour away right now and you're in New York. Like, fuck it. And she drove out to me and we got
an
dinner.
hour, that's like a drive to the west side in LA.
Exactly. That's another thing. I love how everything's walkable there. It's so, like, and you're so stimulated while you walk that you don't realize you're even walking that far. Like one day I walked 7.7 miles. Just did it like naturally, and it wasn't like a workout. I found myself wandering, and then I looked down at my health app and I was like, 7.7 miles. Like, it's crazy. I rode a bike across the Manhattan Bridge, which was so cool.
And
what? Oh, what you like the thing?
Yeah.
Me like nervously scratching this pillow right now. I met a cute boy. So that's fun.
A very cute boy.
A very cute boy. Very cool boy. Someone who was so easy to talk to, which was really nice. Like kind of back to the LA comparison. Sometimes when you meet men here, most of the time when you meet men here.
A lot of the time when you meet men here.
It's just kind of like, what's up? Like, what do you do?
So what do you do?
Right. And there, like, we immediately talked about childhood trauma, and I'm like, that's my fucking shit. So like, I don't know. Really cool guy. That's really no update there. Maybe later in life, but not right now. What else? I went to a boxing match. I went to a Triller match. I went to a concert. it was a trip where I had nothing planned, and then I walked away with the trip with so many cool experiences.
That's so sick.
That was, yeah, it was so like
The
you couldn't
unexpected,
have planned it.
yeah.
I could not have planned a trip like that. I just went with the flow, and I just so happened to know some people that were in New York at the same time, and it was a perfect mix of like independence and new people.
Yeah.
Because like,
but then like you saw one of our really good friends that you had that element of comfort where it really like let you kind of just like thrive.
Right. And new energy too.
Yeah.
Like sure we know her, but we don't really spend like that much time with her. She's not necessarily one of my closest friends. So there was also an element of new energy there where I was able to catch up with her because I hadn't seen her in a minute. And, you know, she asked about you, she asked about Leanna, like we caught up on that. And it was just so amazing. So I hope this inspires you guys to take a trip somewhere. Like I said, it doesn't need to be somewhere crazy extravagant. Just break up your energy even for a day or a weekend or an hour or anything. I need to watch this back when I'm feeling unmotivated too, because it's something I tend to forget until I'm desperate for it, until I'm like, I need to get out of here. And that's kind of what this trip was. But yeah, good shit. What else? Oh, new season of You is out.
Yeah, we watched, what are we on, episode 5?
4 or 5? Yeah.
5 now.
So I'm not gonna say spoiler alert yet because, or no, actually spoiler alert. Spoiler alert, please fast forward. And also don't give us any spoilers because we're not done. So please don't like comment anything on this, nothing like that. I can't lie. Somebody responded to my story and said a spoiler.
Oh, and you know it? Why would they do that?
I know. I was so mad. I read so fast too. That's the thing. I didn't even fully open it, and like I saw keywords, my brain picked them out in the message, and I was like, fuck. So I like got out of it. I wanted to respond and be like, why did you do that? But then if I did that, no.
Is it a big one?
I don't know, because I don't know at what point the spoil is, but they just let me know it's part of the series, and we don't know it yet as far as episode 5. You get what I mean? So we might find it out this episode. I don't know. Or we might find it out last episode. I don't.
Got you.
It just, I don't want to tell you.
Is it a crazy thing though? See, this is what I hate.
It's not that crazy.
When I'm watching a show with someone and they know something that I don't, I want to know so bad.
It's not that crazy.
Okay.
It's not crazy enough to where I gasped. I gasped more at the fact that they
told you
fucked my shit than what it was itself. So don't even, I think it's something we'll see coming anyway.
You know what I used to do?
Yeah, it's disgusting. Let them know.
I get so like hyper fixated on ending of shows that like I'll Google the ending. I used to read the last pages of books.
You're weird.
Does anyone do that?
No, you're not alone. I know so many people do that.
Because I've like actively tried to like stop doing that. I haven't done it.
You're so brave.
Yes. No, really though, because then I would stop. Like I've only finished one show in my whole life.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Weeds. And I looked
That's an interesting one.
Right now. And it's one of the ones where I looked
at Friends.
Right. But that's different.
How? You finished a show.
Well, because
proud of yourself.
I was watching as it was coming out. Oh. And like I'm caught up with a lot of shows, but like if someone tells me, "Oh, go watch what is it called? Breaking Bad." I'll watch like the first couple seasons and then just like stop watching it. Well, I'll look up the end and then stop watching.
That's a hefty one. Hefty ones like that, I kind of
get it. But I have a list of probably like I got really high one night and I wrote down a list of all the shows.
Oh my god!
Wait, hold on, let me see if I still have it. It's a list of all the shows that
you've started, just not finished.
Yeah, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 shows that I have started.
Can you read them off?
New Girl, Jane the Virgin,
so good.
Dexter, Grey's Anatomy, Shameless, Breaking Bad, Suits, Weeds, In the Dark.
You haven't finished In the Dark? Season 3 just came out. I thought you finished it.
It's checked.
Oh, great. Perfect. She dead us has one of those bullet point lists that you have in your notes thing. I don't know if you're not gonna be able to see it at all.
Actually click Weeds, because what I was gonna say is Weeds is one of the ones where I stopped, looked up the ending, but then I went back and I looked up the ending like 3 episodes away from the finale.
Why?
I don't know. It's a weird thing. I don't know what it is.
Did your parents do this?
No.
This is a traumatic event.
No, it's just like, I don't want it to end. So it just like never ends for me.
But you know the ending. So it did end.
Yeah, but I don't get experience. Oh, wait. I have to add another one to this.
What?
Scandal.
Oh yeah,
Leanna got
me
into Scandal, and I only got into like a season 4. So
I
yeah,
have to finish. I'm one of those people when I binge something, it's like, it's a project now. It is a project to finish this show that I'm binging that I actually will stay up and not sleep because I know, okay, I need to finish this before tomorrow.
You know what's crazy is like I look at everything in my life like that. I'm such like a checklist person.
Like ultimatum for yourself.
I have to finish shit.
Right.
Shows are that maybe it's just like that what I was talking about earlier, like that thrill that you get when you just like leave something undone.
Yeah.
And like right. Who the fuck knows? It's literally just like shows.
I would like to hear if any of you guys.
And you know what? This is what's daunting is that this is hours of work.
Oh yeah, like that's unfinished.
Yes,
that makes me itchy.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Wait, also hold on. We told people spoiler alert, so let's do our spoilers because they're probably trying to find where we go. Like, sorry guys. So yeah, we're episode 5. So what's happened so far? She opened the bakery, killed the neighbor. Then we were so shocked by the neighbor thing.
Yeah, we thought she was gonna be like a
Natalie, right? Is
yeah,
her name? We thought she was gonna be like a
major character,
right? I was very surprised with that.
Then they killed he killed him. He ended up killing himself.
Gil was his name.
Yeah, the other neighbor.
Right. Definitely didn't see that coming at the beginning of that episode. I'm sure you guys noticed if you watched it. If not, you're getting a spoiler right now. We're so sorry. There was a suicide warning thing. I love that they like leave the number and like the website too. I think that's so smart.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh my God, I bet it's gonna be
the husband, Natalie's
husband. And we were so surprised that it was Gil.
Yeah.
I asked people on Instagram if they've watched it and if they've liked it. Majority did say they liked it. I think it was over like 70% liked the show. But some responses, which I obviously need to stop reading because people are sending me fucking spoilers.
Yeah.
Were saying how they didn't like how they went into like the COVID part of things.
Yeah. I'm seeing a lot of shit right now where people are like, I'm cool. I think a lot of shows are feeling the need to address it. And I'm seeing a lot of I can get behind, but I'm also like, I'm okay if shows don't acknowledge that we're in a pandemic.
Like that was the one thing we had the whole pandemic that let us escape. And now like you're seeing people with masks and they heavily talk about the vaccine in the show and like
it's a huge like plot
stance.
Point. Yeah.
They took a stance, but you know, it is Netflix. Like Netflix is very what's the word? Impressionable. Yeah. So like I'm sure there was intention there with like trying to push the vax. I don't know. It was very bold though, but you can also argue like as much as we want to escape it, like it is the reality. So like maybe shows are
to be relevant. It's like
sure, but like they don't need to. No, I'm not. Yeah. I'm just when
trying to like see their point of view.
Right. When companies, brands, when people make big moves like this, I always just like Alex and I sit there and we try to dissect on like a PR level. We're like, why did they do that?
Meeting
like,
room wise.
Exactly. We try to like put ourselves in those shoes. But I do like the show so far. I didn't like how Love and Joe kind of hated each other for a minute. Like, yeah. I really, really want them to come back together and like
I guess
be a team.
It only makes sense because of the last scene of season 2 where he tries to kill her.
Right. Like there's going to be some steam there for a minute, some tension.
And they like addressed it within, you know what I think, sorry, little sidebar. You know what I think changes a lot of like people's perspective of shows is if they binge it. We're getting all of this information within 4 episodes where it's like, if you like the way that we used to watch shows was once a week.
Right.
And there's still that timeline in between. So it's like, there's longer periods of time that are passing in shows, but we're consuming it in 4 hours that it's like, it feels like they're not, like diving into this one little thing as much. Does that make sense?
No, that absolutely makes sense. I just wonder if we'll ever get back to that. Like binge culture is a thing now. Like with streaming services, like if you don't release everything at once, people lose interest because our attention spans are of ants.
I wonder if that's changed how shows have developed storylines timeline wise. Like how quickly they like hit with these like big things that happen in the shows. Like it has to have changed some because we're not watching them as far apart.
I'm just trying to think. No, absolutely. I'm just trying to think if I can think of any. But honestly, it's kind of still the same right now. I mean,
I wonder if there's going to be a shift that we can like see.
It'd be cool if they did like a show that was a week of that person's life and you got to watch like a daily vlog almost. That'd be sick. Netflix, cut me a check. Let's stop doing spoilers though. I feel bad. Okay. So no spoilers, but still giving opinions on the show. I do like it. I'd say so far I'm like a 7 out of 10 right now.
I'm not as hooked as I was. I'll say that. I'm not like as like dialed in as I was the first 2 seasons.
I think we're just kind of desensitized to the behavior of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
it's not as dramatic because we know what they're capable of.
Exactly. Like it's not crazy that, you know, the things they do. No, again, no more spoilers. Sorry. It's not as crazy because you're just like, well, duh, they're literally fucking psycho. So that could be why we're just not as like shocked by it. But I still respect the writing. I think the acting's great.
Oh yeah, no, it's a great show.
I think we were saying like she's gonna be one of the like biggest female actors of our time. I think she's so great. I think she's like her face in horror things and scary things is so good. There's something so like readable about her emotion, like in Haunting a Hill House and Bly Manor and all that. I love her to death. And then obviously Penn Badgley is
amazing,
sexy as fuck. And amazing. Yeah, there's that. Anyway, that's how we feel about that. Let's get into it. We have a lot to talk about. Before that, what we're wearing. I'm wearing a Lord shirt, jeans from Urban, yellow Converse.
And I'm wearing my Jordans and my cow socks. These are from Garage. And then I got this from a gas station. And then this is a ASOS fuzzy hat.
Cute. I almost wore a sweatsuit that matched your hat, but then I figured I'm going to sweat through it.
Sweat rings on a fuzzy outfit.
Let's do Song of the Day.
Mine is, we haven't really talked about this, but Adele dropped a new song for her
I haven't listened. I like Adele too. I was in New York.
Seriously?
I was just on another wavelength. Seriously, I didn't.
Oh my God, you have to listen. So she's going to drop her album. I don't know, how old is she? 30 or 31?
I think 30.
30, so it's obviously going to be titled 30. The song is called Easy on Me. It's really good. It's going to be about her divorce.
Fuck yeah, so it's going to be
good.
And like 30, I mean, I know we don't necessarily know by
that's
experience,
a big
but like that's
landmark.
Right, like even when like Monica talked about it, she was saying like it was this big like realization, like shit, that's fucking dope. I'll listen to it.
Whoa.
What?
I just made the connection. Monica and Adele are the same age.
Oh my God. That doesn't track
sit right with me.
No, they're not.
No.
Not on my watch. My song of the day is going to be off Alessia Cara's new album. I'm going to do I Miss You, Don't Call Me. She's such a great writer. One of my favorite artists. So underrated. Alessia Cara and Jessie J are two very underrated artists for me that I feel like I'm like, I want to shake people and be like, they're so good. Like, how do you not see that? And they do have their cult base, but they don't like blow up. Like I feel like they could blow up with like fucking Ariana Grande. Like they're both so good.
Yeah.
Oh, it breaks my heart. Anyway, before we get into things, we're going to take a quick break for our sponsors. So our sponsor for today is Nutrafol. You guys have heard us talk about them before, and they target so much more than just hair loss. They target everything that causes hair loss, which can be stress, metabolism, nutrients, hormones, and I feel like that's really powerful.
Right. And I've been using it, and I feel like my hair, like my fallout has gotten less and less. And I've talked about this before, like fallout's a big thing for me.
Right.
And I've had like so much body to my hair. I've been loving it.
And it feels good.
And what's cool is you can take their hair wellness quiz, and then they send you like a personalized formula, because obviously everyone's hair is different and we all need different things. So that's a cool little feature that they have.
Also, I don't know about you guys, but whenever I take a vitamin and I forget, I'm always like, oh, I forgot. And then you're just like
backslide.
Right. And you're like, I should just probably not even take it anymore. But you don't have to worry about with them. You never run out. You never miss a dose because you have monthly deliveries that just come to your doorstep.
You can grow thicker, healthier hair and support our show by going to Nutrafol.com and entering the promo code ADVICE to save $15 off your first month subscription. This is their best offer anywhere, and it is only available for U.S. customers for a limited time.
Plus free shipping on every order. Get $15 off at Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com with promo code ADVICE. Thanks, Nutrafol.
Today as you could probably tell by the title, we're talking about imposter syndrome. So you're looking at a new student.
Woo, she's a student.
So I started this thing called Coursera. It's by Google, and it's for professional certificates. And I was literally sitting on my ass this weekend compared to you're out in New York, literally loving life. I was sitting on my ass this weekend, and I was just like, what am I doing right now because first of all, it's not just one day that I've been doing this. I've been sitting on my ass for the past fucking...
Well, your foot's been hurt.
Right.
It's okay.
But I literally don't go outside. I haven't walked around. Like,
right.
it really like fucked me up this past week.
No, guys, we sit on our ass so much. It's like, it's concerning for our gluteus maximus.
And like working from home, like working on my lap, they got me a laptop. So I'm literally just like laying on my couch with my laptop on my lap with a broken foot. Can't even get up to play with my dog. Like,
right.
It really took a toll on me. So I'm sitting on my ass on the couch on a Saturday, and like Leanna's like just doing singing videos, and you're in New York, and I'm like, okay, what the fuck am I doing right now? So I signed myself up to get a professional certificate in UX design. And so UX is basically just like a step further of what I do on my day-to-day. So okay. I'm a graphic designer at my current job, and I design for web, but I don't know a lot of the programs or practices or terminology or like all of the like actual like
industry terms,
like technicals that I would have gotten going to like a 4-year university.
Gotcha. For those of you who don't know,
I went to FITM, and I went to FITM. I got my AA in visual communications, which is a lot of people get their AA in visual communications for things like set design, windows, visual merchandising. Mm-hmm. And then I went back and got my bachelor degree in design, which is like a super broad program at FITM. Right. So I really had to focus my projects on graphics. I've literally probably only taken like 2 or 3 graphics classes in my whole life.
That's so crazy.
I love that. It's crazy, but it made me think like I need to really appreciate where like the job that I landed.
Right.
Because saying that I've only taken like a couple graphics classes and then I have the job that I have, it's this weird like, how did I fucking get here?
The epitome of imposter syndrome.
Right.
Yeah.
And it kind of like validated my imposter syndrome. Like, how did I get to this? So I'm doing this Coursera program that Google has. It's like a 6-month program. I'm like actually so excited. I have like homework. I'm doing.
We always talk about how we want to take tests. Alex and I love school.
Yes,
we're like, I have more tests.
I have quizzes. I have tests.
Can I like do them with you?
Yes, I have.
We should see the scores I get. I don't know shit.
You would know. The thing is like I don't know if they're easy because I know the general. I mean, I'm in the field, so like I know the general shit of it.
I don't.
But I think a lot of it's very obvious.
I'll try it.
You'll try it.
Try with you this weekend.
So I'm doing that.
I'm so proud of you. That's huge, dude.
Thank you.
I meant to tell you when I was in New York, a girl was telling me, she's like, yeah, I just started classes again the other day because I just felt, and she's our age. She's like, I just felt like there's no age to stop learning. And I meant to call you right there. Like you're doing it. And
yes.
Like, it is a weird thing for people who are quote older than the college age to go back to school. It could be a pride thing that comes in, and I'm really proud of you for doing it.
Yeah, I know I've always wanted to go back to school, whether that be like getting my master's in something else or even just like taking random classes here and there. I never thought it'd be this quick, and like Coursera is, here I am like not giving it enough credit. Like it's a program that Google has, and it's for a certificate. Like I'm not getting a degree in something else, but
you're getting a credential.
Yeah.
And
I'm just like, at the end of the day, I'm getting the knowledge that I feel like I should have had to get the job that I have now.
And as credible as you still are for your job, clearly, even if you weren't doing this course, I am glad you're doing something that will possibly help your self-esteem.
Right.
You know? And you are like, back to imposter syndrome, like you are obviously qualified enough to be doing what you're doing.
Yeah. But okay, so I went through this like thing in my head. We always talk about like fake it till you make it.
Right.
And I wrote down like, what happens if you fake it till you make it enough to where you get to where you want to be, but you don't have what you actually need to move farther? Like I got to the point where like I was worried that if I were to ever apply to a different job and like I'm not going to get lucky twice.
Is it luck though? You're also just really good at what you do.
Yeah.
I'm just being devil's advocate.
But it's just
here.
like, yeah, no, for sure. But it's just like, this is literally imposter syndrome working to its core.
Yes.
I'm a literally walking and breathing example of imposter syndrome.
I totally get it. I think when we were talking about it earlier about what we're going to talk about today, it's a big thing that I think a lot of people obviously experience, period, but a lot of our generation experience, because we kind of like, our parents, again, generally speaking, have really pushed into us, you need to go to school, you need to like earn your way up in a company. Like that was something my mom said to me. It wasn't so much school, but she was like, you need to get a job and work your way up in the company.
Yeah.
And we, that was pushed on us so much. And a lot of our generation has found, for lack of a better word, loopholes and shortcuts to get these incredible opportunities with half of the work. And I think a lot of us are like, oh fuck, like, I'm not supposed to, this isn't how it's supposed to happen. And we call it luck. And then we keep thinking that our luck's going to be stripped from us tomorrow, but maybe it's not luck. Maybe it's just the like way it works now. But I get it. I mean, I'm the same way, even with the job I'm in right now. Big imposter syndrome, because I know so many creators that have, they've done this since they were in high school. They've been making videos forever. Like the one I think of specifically is Adeline Morn. I know she's like, she talks about all the time, like she's been doing this shit since high school. Like she's always been like, I want to be a creator, and she's worked so hard for it, all this stuff. And
you hear this and you're like, that's not my experience.
No, I fell into it. So back to the luck thing, it was kind of luck for me. But then like you always tell me, you're like, no, Kristen, like, you might have fallen into a lucky situation, but you're the one keeping up with it. And, you and I have started this podcast, and there's credibility in that. It's, this is one of those podcast episodes where we're not going to walk away with an answer for you guys. We're just going to let you know you're not alone.
And that's okay. So so when I started Coursera, I was watching a few of their like intro videos to the program.
Okay.
And they interviewed like a really high up director of Google, or like of UX at Google. And he had said, I was literally like kind of like half-assed doing something else, and I had the video up in the background, and he said something, and I've been in the industry for 20 odd years and I still get imposter syndrome. And to hear that literally a director at Google feels like he doesn't deserve to be there. So I had heard the term before, or the coined phrase or whatever, and I never really like registered it, but then I heard it and I was like, hold on, I think I have that.
Right.
So I started doing research and like Googling it, and I was like, holy shit. Like I've even said on the podcast before, like sometimes I feel like I don't deserve like the job I have now.
Me too.
And like I'm just like not good at it, and like people aren't going to be happy with my work, and like I'm just not as good as a designer as like I've said before, or like I thought I once was. But then to hear that this man who has been in the industry for so long and has had everything probably work out like well for him,
clearly.
Obviously he's high up at Google, like one of the best UX companies there is, and he still has imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Right.
So I listened to this podcast. It's it's NPR's Life Kit, and it's by Diana Opong, and then she talks to this Dr. Suzanne Imes, and Suzanne Imes is actually the one who coined the phrase imposter syndrome or the imposter theory.
How do you coin that? Like, does she get paid? Is she getting paid when we say it? Imposter syndrome, imposter syndrome. Like,
I don't know. No, so she was in grad school, I think. This was back in the 70s. She was in grad school, I think, and she was kind of like talking about how she like didn't feel like she deserved to be on like her journey. And she was working with a colleague, and they came up with this theory.
Wow.
And they were just like talking about it, and then just realized that like other people, other people have it. So if you get a chance, go listen to that podcast. I wrote down a whole bunch of things from it that we're going to talk about today. Basically, they go over 5 ways to like shake your feeling of imposter syndrome. Okay. First, they talk about how there's 2 types of people: those who tend to overestimate their abilities and those who tend to underestimate their abilities.
What do you think you are?
I underestimate my abilities 1,000%.
I kind of think I might overestimate my abilities.
Really?
I only say that because I don't know if this tracks with it, but I notice I spread myself thin.
Oh, okay.
So then I spread myself thin, and then when I'm too thin and I'm caught up, I'm like, oh my God, I'm not capable of this because I'm not capable, not because I spread myself thin. But then I zoom out and I'm like, no, you're capable. You have too much on your plate. You're capable of the things, but you don't have enough time.
Oh.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But then I don't think of it like that. Those are my therapist words right there. I don't genuinely feel that. That's just what I'm told I should probably feel. My thing is like, no. If I'm capable, then I should just be capable, period. And then, yeah, maybe it's time management too.
Well, no. Okay. So they say that, they mention in the episode that there's 2 kind of signs that you are feeling imposter syndrome. And one of them is that, like, say you're given a task and you either procrastinate that task, so you like put it off until you like don't have anything else to do and you just like have to do it, or you over prepare yourself for that task. So you start early, you like way over prepare and like build it up to be this grand thing, even though it might just be a meeting with your boss.
Damn. And that probably gives people so much anxiety.
Yeah.
Both of them are anxiety filled.
Well, it's all anxiety. Basically, all these points that they talk about to like shake the feeling is all just like shake the feeling of the anxiety.
So before we move on to the number 2 or whatever, I wanted to say earlier, now that we're calling it anxiety, I kind of feel like imposter syndrome, we talk about it as a business thing. I think it's something we need to tackle in all of our therapy sessions with our therapists.
For sure, because it comes out in social life.
Exactly. Like, it's so much more than this business focused thing. At least in my personal realm, I feel like I only ever hear people talk about it when they're talking about their job.
Right.
I mean, literally, that's how we started this talk just now.
Yeah.
Which is still so valid because obviously your job is part of your life. But I think it needs to be talked about on a psychological level more.
For sure. And like, think about like when you're, specifically at a party in LA and you're like, why am I at this party?
Me all the time.
Yeah.
Me all the time.
But it's like, you were invited. That's why.
It roots back to self-esteem. Mm-hmm. A lot of it, even where things about your job where you're like, I don't know, Kristen, I've said like, you are so good. Like, you have to believe that you are so good and you are clearly so qualified. Like, it does come back to self-esteem.
And part of imposter syndrome for me is like thinking that people are just being nice.
I feel that.
And people are just like trying to save my feelings.
Well, if we move to New York, we don't have to worry about that.
Done.
Sign me as lease.
But like another thing for imposter syndrome is, for me, hold on, I wrote it down, is the fear that someone's going to find out that I don't belong here. So like I work with a lot of people who are like, and the thing is like, I'm about to talk about these people, but they probably have this too.
100%.
but they are just like so far along in their careers. They've been in the industry for 10 plus years. I'm fairly new. I've only been here for like 2 years. And I work with these people and it's so intimidating.
Yeah.
And I'm so like afraid that they're going to find out. They're going to one day, literally like a light bulb is going to go off in their head and they're going to be like, hold on, why does Alex work here?
They would have done that already.
I know that, but it's literally just like this daunting feeling.
Like doom.
Yes.
Wow.
Like this impending doom that I'm just one day going to be like, hold on, she doesn't deserve to be here.
Fuck.
It's crazy. And like to see all this, I'm probably like really hyped about this because I have felt all of these things for a really long time.
But you didn't know why.
I didn't know what it was.
You should start therapy.
I know. No, I know. But it's crazy that this is like an actual like specific, like I know you're saying it goes beyond the workplace, but like specifically with work, because I feel like I'm generally like a confident person when we're out with our friends and when we're doing these shit. It's literally just my place of work where I'm like, I don't deserve this.
Right. Low self-esteem, if you have it doesn't mean you have it in every degree.
Right.
Like I'm confident in so many things and so not confident in other things. You're not one of those things. You're not one or the other is what I'm trying to say. No, that's really hard. I mean, you got to find what's going to validate you.
Right.
And you do want to find that within ultimately, obviously. But I think something that could also help is, my mom has told me this before, like ask your boss for a review. You can ask for that feedback because as much as, yes, we shouldn't find validation in others, especially in a workplace though, when like your validation actually is like how you get paid.
Right.
Like you finishing an email is how you keep your job.
Yes.
So maybe if you're ever feeling iffy, like ask, hey, like, can I actually just, because I feel like you have like a friendship with your
totally
your people. You could be like, hey, so-and-so, like straight up, like, how did you feel about that? Like just on like a general design aspect, how did you feel about this email? And they would love to sit and talk to you. I feel like that could be a good tactic for you.
That's terrible. Like I'm literally shaking in my boots.
In your boots, you're wearing Jordans.
That's terrifying.
Yeah. Well,
but like
therapy's gonna be more terrifying. You're gonna have to do a lot more scary things. So you just gotta get used to it, girly. Put on your big girl boots.
Yeah. But your point about validation, one of their like steps to shaking the feeling is, and this is what I wrote, connect with another person or your support system. And I wrote in parentheses in all caps, where I'm at now. Because I was gonna talk to you about it.
Wait. Imagine somebody finding your notes. They don't know you have a podcast though. They just think you're this psycho that writes down their thoughts.
Oh my God. Okay, but
so you're here now.
Yes, I'm right here now. And connecting with people and acknowledging that like other people have this, because I literally didn't, before today, I didn't realize that this was a fucking thing.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I've heard the phrase before, but I didn't realize the depth of it. And I probably heard it years ago when I didn't have it.
Right.
But a tip is to connect with someone and just literally just express yourself about what you're feeling, because chances are that they've have it or have had it too.
Yep. And
literally treat it like it's anxiety and kind of state like, because a lot of it, especially for me, comes up when, I mean, I've even talked to you about it. Like I'm anxious for this big meeting where I have to present my work to literally the head of my department.
She works for a really reputable brand too, guys. Like, can't stress that enough.
Yeah, it's a really big fucking brand. And I literally show my work to the director of all of e-commerce of this brand. And
crazy.
The amount of times that I said like, Kristen, I have a big meeting today and like I'm really nervous. A big thing that you could do is like literally tell a friend that you're nervous about this meeting, and for your friend, like a good way to tell your friend to help you out with this anxiety is to just say, I hear you. I'm going to be here for you when you're outside of this meeting. The doctor who really like developed this theory said that one of the worst things to hear when you're feeling anxious about imposter syndrome is that everything's going to be okay.
I mean, anxiety in general.
Right.
I'm like
that
shut up.
doesn't help.
Oh, All better.
Cured.
I feel literally great.
No. So yeah, this.
So I need to start doing that.
No, but like, yeah.
Whenever you've done that, I feel like I've always hyped you up.
Yeah. No.
I've always been like, that's fucking dope, dude. Like that's so cool. I feel like whenever I've been anxious about opportunity, I like to be like, hold on, this is sick.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're anxious, but look what you're doing.
And even if he's going to come back and be like, your work is fucking ass, like you still got to show your work to this person.
That's on your resume. I showed my work to freaking so-and-so of the really big company. Like, sick. That's still a win. So maybe trying to find validation in personal small wins rather than big wins that are written on a resume or seen by other people. Like, look at them as small, tangible achievements within yourself, and then there's way less pressure.
Right. And a big thing is to start giving yourself more credit. Yes. Just like trusting in yourself.
Yes.
And really dropping. This was a big like light bulb for me.
Light bulb.
Dropping the your need for like being a perfectionist, because I always say like, oh, I'm a perfectionist, it has to be to this standard, it has to be to this standard. No one's perfect. It's never going to be perfect. So dropping that standard and really giving yourself credit. One of the tactics that the doctor talks about is writing a list. 3 columns, things that I'm not good at, things that I'm like medium good at, like okay at, and then things that I'm really good at. And you kind of just like give yourself like to be able to say like, okay, I'm not good at this. And it could be something as simple as like
drawing,
soccer.
Yeah, it's just like anything.
Yeah.
Where you can be honest with yourself.
Right.
That you're clearly not good.
Exactly. Because if you could be honest to yourself about what you're not good at, you could trust yourself when you say you're good at something.
Yes. Yeah, and it's building that trust with yourself.
Right. And that's so big.
If I made that list though, those 3 columns, the middle column would be really long because I feel like I know enough about a lot of things.
Jack of all trades.
But I'm not an expert at one thing, which like...
Okay, but you're like, there are a lot of things you're really good at. You could say you're cooking.
But even that, I'm like, cooking for me, you guys, is big imposter syndrome. I just had to say big imposter syndrome for me. Like in New York, I was talking about cooking with somebody and they were like, so you're like a chef? And I'm like, no, I'm not a chef. Like, I just like to cook. Because to me, I'm like, a chef, you have to go to culinary school.
I don't
actually know.
I don't know the technicalities of it.
So
like
maybe I'm like actually
but that's like specific. That's almost one like you can't say you're a doctor if you don't like get your doctorate. But I mean, you like,
you're Psycho. Isn't there a podcast about a guy, Dr. Psycho?
Yeah.
He literally was like, yes, I'm a doctor.
Listen to that, you guys.
He's like, I can do surgery because
but no, like
it's a big one for me though. And I literally, after that, I was like, maybe like a self-proclaimed chef. And they were like, cooking's hard. Like that. I'm like, but it's not hard. And
literally like, hyping you up because they probably couldn't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. That's a really, really big one for me. Also, where you said being a perfectionist. I just wanted to say my side because I often feel alone in this. I hear so many people around me. And by so many people, I mean you and Leanna, because those are the only people I really talk to. You guys are perfectionists. You both say that about yourselves. I don't think I am. I often find myself, I'll take it back to schoolwork. I'll finish something, but I always feel like my work is mediocre. And I feel like I just like pass. Like I feel like I'm never fully impressed with my work. Ever.
Maybe that's just like your sign that feeds into imposter syndrome.
Yeah. Cause like, even if it is impressive, I don't see it that way. Cause I'm not credible enough.
Yeah. Do you feel the need for like, do you feel like your work needs to be better?
Yes.
I feel like that's a form of perfectionism. Not to be,
okay,
you know,
you're right.
Like,
okay, yeah, I said a lot. Maybe I am. I quite literally just like
because I was gonna say I don't think you're not. I think you have high standards for yourself. But when you under deliver, you kind of like kick yourself.
It eats me alive.
Yeah.
It literally eats me alive.
I would say you're some form of a perfectionist.
That's awful.
It's like really debilitating.
Donda.
Congrats, Kanye. Did you hear he changed his name to Ye?
When?
I don't know.
Is there papers? Like he did it?
I don't know. I saw it in Discord. Thomas, I think, said it.
I thought you said change his name to like Thomas. Yay. I was like, oh holy fuck.
No, yeah,
weird.
it's terrifying.
Wait. Yay? Or perfectionism?
Both.
Kanye and perfectionism are fucking
Are the
scary.
same thing.
I'd love to hear his take on this. I feel
Should
like
we
he's
have him as
literally
a guest?
Could you imagine? He loves advice. He listens to advice so much.
Yo.
I guess maybe I am a perfectionist. I don't know. I think that's something we all need to try and talk to our therapist about, you guys. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Another aspect that they really dive into in this podcast is the social standard that is applied to specific genders, races.
Right.
Just kind of like where society thinks you should be compared to, like, think about how as women we already know going into the workplace that we're not going to make as much as men.
Nope.
How do you think that's like had an effect on like us already feeling like we don't deserve to be there?
Being okay with it.
Yeah.
It's I feel like it's become such common knowledge. Yes, but it's also we've just accepted it. Like, it's one thing to be aware of something and be motivated to change it.
Yeah.
But we're just kind of like, it is what it is.
Yep. And it's like it's already set us, this like societal standard has already set us back 7 steps.
Yep.
To feel like that we even like have to work even harder to get to where we are. Mm-hmm. And then we end up there and we're surrounded by a majority of men in most workplaces.
Right.
And for us to feel like, okay, we had to work twice as hard. We're already